Good evening everyone, and welcome to my yoga practice for before bed. If you're like me and you need some help with getting to sleep or just relaxing at the end of the day, and this is going to be especially good if you're on your computer all day and you are looking at the screen all day like this, maybe a bit funny with your back, this is going to be the perfect practice for you. Going to try and keep it short and sweet for you guys so it can be a really nice chilled. We're going to be down on the floor for the majority of it, coming up maybe midway, but nothing too taxing. You don't even probably really need a mat. You don't even really need a mat for this practice. Yeah, just some candles and plants apparently. I'm going to start off by just bringing us into the space and our practice together by just hitting this a couple of times. So get into a nice comfortable seat. You can be kneeling like this, or you could even be like this if that's comfy for you, mermaid seat, or you could be like this, or even in full lotus if you wanted. Whatever's the vibe for you. Excuse my wire, I'm just testing a new way of recording the audio for you guys, so you'll have to excuse the wire. But find your comfortable seat. This is not my comfortable seat. I'm just going to be in a nice easy cross, nice straight back. And if you cannot sit in a nice easy cross position with a straight back, I didn't bring any books in with me, but I suggest you make yourself a little seat out of books and you raise your bum off the ground until you can quite comfortably sit. Good tactic. Books, pillows, yeah, that's all my suggestions. So first of all, let's just start with a few of these, and all I want you to do is just simply sit and listen to the sound, and I'm going to try and let the sound ring out for as long as possible, just with a few hits, and then I'll do a bit of this. A bit of this. Just sit and let that sound ring out. Maybe close your eyes. Start to feel yourself sinking in towards the floor. And set your own intention for your practice today. Our collective intention is just to keep aware of our breath, to let our body start to switch off, let our brain start to switch off, let your eyes be heavy. All of the movements and the postures that we're going to be doing in class today will be able to do very kindly and very gently. I'm just going to place this back down here, and I'll do that again at the end of class. Okay, so first of all we're just going to start in a tabletop posture. So transitions are just as important as the postures. So as you're moving from your seat into your tabletop, sorry, I just wanted to check how much room I've got between the plants and the candles. Be careful of your transitions. Transitions are just as important as the postures. So make sure that you've got a good grounding in your hands before you start to put a lot of weight in. Make sure your knees aren't far behind. Okay, so first of all, we're just going to start with a little bit of cat-cow. And leading with the lower back, start to very gently come into your cow and then push back up into your cat. Don't worry too much about your breath here, let it move naturally. Still keep an eye on it, let it be a focus that you're working with. But don't worry too much about getting it right or getting it wrong, just let everything move very naturally and very freely. And just keep moving through these lovely spine opening exercises. Be especially good if you've been sitting all day. This is great for the lower back, especially if you're leading with the lower back and having the head come up last. Make sure that you're being really strong in your shoulder girdle, so all of this area here. So don't let your chest come through, you know, like don't have a saggy chest. We want to keep nice and strong. And if this is a bit too much on your hands, excuse my hair, it's a bit too much on your hands, you can come up onto your fists like this. You might find that that's a nicer kinetic chain of energy with just bones stacked on top, with bones stacked on top of bone. Yeah, and if you feel like you've got a little bit more to do with this cat-cow, then flip your toes over and you can start to move from your cow into your cat. And as you're in your cat, you can push back and just slightly start to open up your feet and then come through cow and then come back with your cat stretch. This is a really lovely ripple effect through the spine. So you can do this if you would like, or if you're just fine still moving through these motions, then carry on doing that for a while. A few more times. Really push the floor away from you. And allow your chest to come through forwards. Your arms not down towards the ground. We're moving forwards and backwards rather than up and down. Good. And now everyone flip your toes over, and we're just going to bring our seat back so that we're just very gently resting it on top of our heels, or as close as you can get. And we're just going to hang out here for a few moments. We really want our hands nice and grounded on the mat. And with this grounding from your hands, if you just push yourself back into your feet perhaps, this is a very strong stretch, opening the bottoms of your feet, but very important. So sit with the discomfort for as long as you can. And if you need to come out of it a little bit, come out of it, but try to stay with me if you can. And if you're feeling major discomfort, say for instance, on the outsides of your ankles, it may mean that you're rolling your ankles out instead of having them come in. So excuse my backside, but this is, I'm just going to show you. If you don't want to be doing this with your ankles, you want really nice, straight, square alignment. You want to keep your ankles and your toes and all the lovely phalanges in your feet. There we go. And then just hang out here. And if that's way too strong for you and you've had enough already, then what you can do is you can flip your feet over like this and gently tap them like that to get rid of any lactic acid that may have built up from that intense stretch. Nice. And then we're just going to bring our seat all the way back and come into our first child's pose of the practice. And when you're here, you may want to stack your fists one on top of each other, and maybe rest your elbows on the ground and rest your head there. This is make sure that you're not encouraging your throat to open. If anything, we'd like our throat to be a bit more closed than open in this space. So if you want to stack your one fist, two fist, and then let your forehead rest there. And maybe take your gaze straight through your knees. You know, maybe not literally, but that's kind of the idea. We want to be closing our throat rather than opening it. So just hang out here, see if you can let yourself ground all the way down, let gravity squish you down. If this is very uncomfortable as well, you can bring cushions or a pillow underneath your hamstrings and your calves. That's sometimes a nice support system there. But if you're still just relaxing here, start to tune into your breath. Maybe breathe it all out through your mouth. Keep an eye on your feet. My ankles were starting to roll out then, and ideally we kind of want to keep them in line with our butts as much as possible. Let your head be heavy. Let your neck be long, the back of your neck. Good, well done. And now just gently inhale, lift yourself up to a nice comfortable kneel just for a few breaths. And again, you can keep the pillow and the cushions underneath your seat to give you a little bit of height if you would like here. And we're just simply going to sit, close our eyes, roll our shoulders backwards. I'll face you guys. Roll your shoulders back whilst keeping your heart up, going up towards the sky. We don't want to be all kind of crunched in on ourselves because that's what we've been doing all day at our desks. So if you can, really think about encouraging your heart to go up towards the sky. You know, sorry, we're still rolling our shoulders. Got distracted by my heart. And then roll them the other way. And let your arms be as kind of cooperative as they can. Let your hands be nice and loose. Nothing too crazy going on here. Oh, lovely. A few more breaths here. Good, now we're going to take our left hand. So when we're towards the end of our day and we're doing a yoga practice, we generally tend to start with the left side. So moving your left hand first, your left leg first, whatever, that's generally the idea. So I'm going to try and remember that as we move forwards, because sometimes I get my lefts and rights confused, as I'm sure you have knowledge of from my previous videos. And if feel free at any point as well, feel free to come up like this. Do the same thing with your feet. Give yourself a nice release. I'm just merely suggesting the direction of our practice together, but really you want slight discomfort, but not pain, and not so much so that you can't breathe. If at any point during your yoga practice you can't breathe, then you need to back out of that and you need to kind of reset yourself. But right now, let me just excuse my lovely little setup that I've got going here. Okay, so I want the left hand to come on the outside of the right knee, right hand possibly to come over to the left hip here. Don't know if you can see that, but that's the pose. You can choose, if you would like to, turn and face your head over that right shoulder, but it isn't necessary. If you've got a bit of a tricky neck, or if you've got a particularly sore neck, or you feel like your shoulders are up here just in this posture, then all you're going to think about is same thing again, nice erect spine, heart up towards the sky, really thinking about trying to grab, maybe even grab your jumper on this side, but ideally we want our palm to be facing towards the left side of the room to get an opening through the front of our shoulder here. But yeah, sorry, I'll stop jabbering on. But this is quite a lovely posture just for opening up your shoulders, for resetting your posture, your own physical posture. And for having a little look over this side of the room, see what's happening over here. Maybe as you move through the posture, you can get a little bit more of a twist. In twists, generally what we want to be thinking about, inhale to occupy the space that we're in. And then when we're exhaling, perhaps taking that space a little, perhaps taking up a little bit more space. So as I'm exhaling, I'm twisting a little bit more. Make sure that this left hip stays nice and grounded and it's not following you over to the right side. Okay, to unravel, first of all, let's take our right hand and bring it onto our right thigh. Let's take our left hand onto our left thigh. Maybe you want to roll your shoulders a little bit here. Quite a strong opening of that front shoulder cuff there. Okay, now we're going to change over. So now we're going to take the right hand. Oh, excuse all the hair on me. We're going to take the right hand now onto the outside of the left knee. Left hand trying to connect to this right hip. You see my palm here? And then again, we're just thinking about opening the front of our chest. You can think about squeezing your shoulder blades together, down and together. And then perhaps you start to have a little look over this side of the room. See what's cracking over here. Take a few breaths. Make sure that you can breathe really steadily and you're not holding your breath at any point. You want your breath to be like the ocean, like the waves coming in and out, in and out. There's never any pause with the waves. It's always in motion, and that's how you want your breath to be. And then maybe have a little look over your left shoulder if it feels good to do so. If not, then just keep looking over to this left hand wall. Keep the left fingers nice and active. Oh, good. Exhale, bring yourself back round to the front. Bring your palms facing up towards the sky. We're going to roll our shoulders again, roll them backwards. And then roll them forwards for good measure, for balance. Ah, lovely. Okay, and then now come through a nice mermaid seat. We're going to come back to our lovely easy cross. Again, if you need to bring your books back and set them underneath your seat so that you can get a nice straight spine, please do so. Or even if you want to put some cushions underneath your knees as well, that's also a nice support option to have. But now we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do some twists, but just with our legs in this easy cross position. So you can be in easy cross. You could also come into cobbler's pose / butterfly if you wanted to. And you could also come into a more diamond shape, like the beginning of or tortoise. I think the hardest posture ever, but we're not doing that one right now. So I'll come into the middle, I'll come into a cobbler's pose. So we're starting to open up this groin area, which when we're sitting at our desks, we can feel like everything's really squished in all the time, and these muscles kind of work overtime to keep our legs together without us knowing it. So it can be nice to just open them up a little bit and come to a comfortable space where you are here. You know, it might be just in between the cobbler and the tortoise. But we're going to do the same thing again. So starting with our left hand, might be a bit more of an intense twist this time. Left hand on your right knee, right hand on the floor behind you this time, and right behind your seat. So we've got our left hand on our right knee, and this hand, I want you to put it here like this, so that you've got the heel of your hand supporting the base of your spine. Now you're not going to be able to get as much of a twist here because your arm is in the way, but I want you to focus on extending your spine up, and if you've got your bum up, lifted up on the books, then just bring your hand on the lower part of your spine here. And that's it, that's the shape. You can feel it's starting to open up the more mid part of your back, the thoracic spine, and all of these muscles down this side, but on the other side, down the intercostal muscles. Also while opening up your groin area. And then exhale, come over to the other side. Just a quick little twist here, nothing too major. Ah, lovely. Okay, and now we're going to do a toe to knee posture. So again, starting with that left leg, let's bring the left leg out in front of us. So it's like almost at a right angle from your outer hip, but on the inside the angle probably is more like a 45-degree angle, but angles and maths is not my strong suit. And then what we're going to do is, this is quite a tricky one, but it's worth it. We're going to bring our ankle and make sure that it's on the knee, so on this part of the knee here. So not right on the outside, but just on this kind of fleshy bit that's here. We're going to bring our ankle onto that part, and you may want to bring some books or some cushions here as well, but if not, move your seat about, get adjusted. We want to be having our ankles and our knees be connected. Flex your feet perhaps. You might want to do some adjusting to get into this properly. It may look like an easy one, but it's not. Even my knee wants to lift a little bit here. And all we're going to do here is we're just going to extend our spine up. And you should be feeling this on the outside of your hips. So kind of deep outer hip start of the glute. Really lovely. So we pretty much are going to be okay just here, but also if you would like to take it a little bit further and you feel like this posture is quite a nice one for you and you're feeling a benefit from it, start to bring your hands either sides of your feet, and then gently start to walk yourself forward and possibly start to fold into this shape. Make sure that you're supporting yourself with your hands, and you can allow your spine to curve. You don't need to come down with the flat back, because naturally your heart will start to make a connection with your calf muscle here, possibly if you are getting down this far. And then you will start to think about bringing your head to meet your shin. So you've got a nice curved spine here. You don't need to really think about keeping everything zipped up or anything. You can let yourself relax here, but do make sure that you've got good grounding with your hands. So just find your posture and then start to breathe into it. And this posture, because it is so opening, you will notice that things start to move quite quickly. So you'll come into it initially and it will be like, eek, ouch, this is too much, this is too much. But then if you find a place where you can hold stillness and you keep a nice focus on your toes and you keep them nice and flexed, you'll find that everything starts to open up quite quickly. It's quite a powerful posture, this one, and especially if you're really keeping yourself nice and supported with your hands, because your body won't feel like it's doing too much because you're supporting yourself. You know, you got this. Good. Start to walk yourself back up to a straight spine. Untangle any wires. Ah, lovely. And again, roll your shoulders backwards. God, mine are clicking like no one's business today. Backwards and then forwards. Maybe do some cat-cow spines from here. A little bit of a back bend. And a little bit of a forwards, nice little restorative curved spine. And again, so now when we're transitioning to the next side, be really careful. You might want to take your left hand on the outside of your right foot and bring it underneath you. And then we're going to take our left foot, bring it on top of the right knee. So set yourself up again. You might need to wiggle and jiggle and just figure it out. But you want your shins to be parallel. You don't really want them to be coming in towards you as if you are cross-legged. You would quite like them to be parallel, or maybe even in line with your mat. So that's the aim in this posture, really, is to genuinely get a good connection with ankle to knee. See, this side is remarkably different from the other side. So if you know where you're going, get into your shape and everything like that. But if you need to put some props or some cushion or a cushion or something like that, I haven't got one to hand actually, silly me, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep everything nice and supported. Really make sure that I'm keeping these toes switched on to keep this knee very nice and safe. I learned that from Michelle Winter, the importance of having your toes switched on and active for knee safety. So thank you, Michelle Winter. She's an excellent yoga teacher in Brighton. If you're in Brighton and you want to find some A-star classes, then go to her. She's my main inspiration in life. She got me started on this yoga journey at a time in my life when I needed it, so I will be eternally grateful for her. My favourite yoga teacher in the whole world, except from Sudhir, who's more of a yoga philosophy teacher than an asana. asana practice, I should say. But more about that another time. Right now, let's just focus on our ankle to knee posture. And I can feel quite a big difference in sides. This left hip is a little bit more stuck than my right hip, so I can feel that it's calling out to me at the moment, giving me some information, some communication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some more weight into my hands, push away from the floor. So I'm kind of, imagine pushing my hands away from me, and I'm just going to curve my back a little bit more. There, and then I think I can hold this for a while. No yoga posture is really unattainable. It's just more about knowing how to support yourself and how to support that posture. So I shouldn't hope that any of you shy away from any posture, because I hope that I'm able to give you enough modifications and support options to make it accessible for you. So there we go, we're done with our ankle to knee posture. It's a good one. And then now let's actually come into butterfly pose. So in butterfly, we used to do this a lot. I used to go dancing when I was younger, and we used to hold on to our toes and kind of pull our toes towards us. But I'm not so sure that that is so great for your phalanges and for your ankles. So, you know, all the other places that I've been and practice this posture, the advice has generally been to hold on to your ankles, and you can place your thumbs on the nice kind of perfectly dipped part between your ankle and your heel there, and then your forefingers on the front of your ankle. And again, you can really take a nice grip on this posture, and you can kind of pull against your legs to get a nice straight back, to get everything, you know, I'm using my biceps here. I'm not kind of, I'm not restorative, I'm not in a restorative state just yet. I'm building the strength, building the energy up first. Getting some good breaths in. Finding the integrity of my spine. And then I'm just gonna flop into it. So same thing again. Think about this part, your hairline, let's say. Oh, speaking of hairline, my hair's being crazy, isn't it? Sorry about that. Hairline coming down towards your toes. So you really do want your spine to be nice and curved. I'll show you. You really do want to be thinking, diving downwards. Normally I would be encouraging you in fold to be thinking about going forwards, but for this one in particular, I want you to think about going downwards. And then once you find a point that you think is okay, then you can perhaps take your hands off of your ankles and your feet can open like a book, and you can just hang out here with the outer blades of your feet supporting each other. And then you find a place where you can hold to start with, and you just relax here. Couple more breaths here. See if you can let gravity smush you down a little bit further. Make friends with your stinky feet. Perhaps open your eyes and give them a little smile and send them some gratitude for getting you on your way all the time. Final little, just relax all the way down. Maybe see about getting your head all the way on the floor, and then build your spine back up again. Roll your shoulders backwards. Oh, good. Take your hands on the outer parts of your knees, let's say, and then let's lay down. Let's ring the bell. Okay, So get yourself nice and situated on your back. Plant your feet really nicely. We're just really going to do some lovely chilled things down here. So first of all, what I want you to do is take your feet as wide as your mat, all the way, and then let your knees come in together. Palms facing up towards the sky. Bring your chin in a little bit more towards your neck. And just breathe. See how your spine is feeling, how your shoulders are feeling. Maybe you will need to lift your chest up off of the mat to shuffle your shoulders down away from your ears. And coming over to the left side, keep your feet where they are and just simply let your knees drop. So your right knee will come down considerably more than your left knee, but then if you want to externally rotate and open up that hip, open up, so you're doing an internal rotation and an external rotation at the same time with your feet planted in the same spot that they were. And again, yogi's choice what you'd like to do with your hands. I naturally just wanted to just feel like they were on my hips at that moment, but if you wanted to bring your arms up above you, that's fine. Out into a T shape, that's fine. Into cactus arms, that's also fine. Make a basket and come behind your head, that's fine. And also if you would like to look in the opposite way of what your knees are going, that's fine too. And you could even look in the same way as where your knees are going. Really just find what you need at this moment in time. You've got the basic shape, so we're in a twist, a nice passive twist. And just settle into it. Again, if you can find stillness, you'll notice that your body just settles down into that stillness and things start to open up. If you fidget, it doesn't give your body that chance to realise that everything's okay and it can just relax. On your next inhale, leave your feet where they are, but let's open up to this right side now. Again, think about what you want to do with your hands. What you want to do with your neck. Maybe tuck your chin in towards your chest a little bit more to get a lovely long spine all the way from the bottom to the top. Good, and then inhale, bring your knees up, and then bring your knees up into your chest. Bring your hands at the bottoms of your hamstrings. Maybe have a roll with your ankles one way, roll with your ankles the other way. Observe your ankles, which one moves more fluid than the other, which one clicks more than the other. Maybe wiggle your toes, have a listen what happens there. Just a really gentle inversion here. You can keep yourself nice and supported with your hands. You can be still, or if you want to kind of rock a little bit to massage your lower back, you can do that also. If you want to come all the way down into plow posture, you can do that as well if you've got that in your practice. But if you don't right now, then just stick with me. We'll talk about plow another time. But for now, let's just hang out here. This rocking is feeling quite nice for my lower back right now. I'm pulling in my tummy button all the way into my spine so that I've got lots of folding space. Ah, lovely. And then now let's place our feet down onto the mat. Feet as wide as our mat once again. And we're just going to come into a very, very passive Shavasana here. So if you want to keep your legs bent like this, if you've got a tight lower back, that might be a nice option for you. But if you would like to come out flat as a pancake, let your feet roll out to the sides. Palms facing up towards the sky, quite far away from your body so that you've got a nice open space underneath your armpits here. And then close your eyes and maintain stillness. That is the practice of Shavasana. We haven't finished our yoga practice just because we're laying on our backs. The practice of Shavasana is conscious relaxation and finding comfort in the stillness. Now we need to be still because we need our body to process and digest all of the movements that we've been practicing this session. If at the beginning of any Shavasana session you need to put socks on, you need to put something over your face, you need to find a way where you can stay still, you know, eliminate any possibility of fidget. And this is a perfect opportunity to do a full body scan. So all the way from your feet, the arches of your feet, the bottoms of your heels, your Achilles tendon, the front of your ankles, your shins, your calves, your knees, behind your knees, your quads, your hamstrings, your hip flexors. Let them all switch off and relax. Then your groin, your lower abdomen, your tummy, your diaphragm, your rib cage, your intercostal muscles, your lungs, your heart, your chest, your sternum. Let your breath be very natural here. Let the front of your shoulders relax, your back of your shoulders, behind your heart, the front of your throat. Let the back of your neck be long. Let your jaw relax, your nose, your cheeks, your eyebrows, your eyeballs, your ears, your forehead, the crown of your head. Give it all permission to be squished with gravity into the ground. Your biceps, your triceps, your forearms, your wrists, your palms, your fingers, fingernails, the hair on your head. Let it all just relax. Listen to your body. What's it telling you? Don't feel like pressure to empty your mind. All you need to do is just be acutely present. So just listen. Listen and observe your thoughts and your sensations. Try not to attach yourself onto any of them. Try not to make any plans right now. I'm going to do this, going to do that. Nope. Just listen. Listen to what your thoughts have to say. Listen to what your body has to say. And then listen to the next thing. And then let that one go and listen to the next thing. Eventually, it will run out of things to say. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, may not be in a month. But I promise you, that is the key to meditation. Letting your thoughts run themselves out. Stay laying down on your backs. I'm just going to start to bring our practice to a close with start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring some vitality to your extremities. Start to roll your shoulders, maybe look to the left, look to the right, keep your eyes closed though. Pay attention to your breath. Are you able to move it like the ocean, like we talked about earlier? Reconnect to your intention. Were you able to switch off your body? Do you feel like you are able to relax now? And then start to find a comfortable seat. Work your way back up to vertical sitting. Keep your eyes closed. Find some stillness now that you're seated. Let your shoulders be heavy. Bring a gentle smile to your face. All the energy, all the prana that you have created during our practice, send it out to someone in your life that you feel like may be in need. Picture that person and then imagine them doused in gold and white glitter. And imagine them feeling joyful, imagine them finding a moment of pure contentment and joy and peace in this lovely gold and white glittery rain that's raining down on them. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.